Hello, listeners, and welcome to another very special week on Four Weebs. They who shall not be named went to Hawaii rather than sticking around and watching anime with us in Alberta. So, they who shall not be named is missing from this episode. You might notice who they are as time passes.
Token male of the group.
The token male. We'll miss his sarcastic voice. I'm Becca. I'm one of the Four Weebs, and yep.
My name's Leah, and I'm sick and congested, so I'm sorry if I sound obnoxious. More so than usual.
My name is Veda. I'm also a member.
Mm-hmm.
The quiet one, so go figure.
And as previously mentioned, Liam is being a special person.
Becca, you named him.
Oh my god!
Deserve a name.
Voldemort is in Hawaii. He's having a wonderful time. I'm sure he has a sunburn. I bet it's great.
Good.
With his girlfriend
We'll just
and family.
curse him with sunburn.
Oh, send sunburn thoughts to Liam. Not like really
his
bad curse vibes.
Not like really bad sunburn, just like one of those annoying ones that like after the first day it peels and you're like, really?
How about a leg sunburn?
Oh, like on his calves?
Yeah.
I feel like it's really mean, but also funny.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I hope all of his margaritas and bellinis are too sugary.
Or too sour.
Or too sour.
One or the other, yeah. We're not bitter about being stuck in Alberta at all.
Well, it's not that cold here. Right?
No, it's nice.
It's still not on a beach.
No.
Yeah.
With liquor.
No.
Yeah.
That's also very sad.
Topless men.
And sea turtles. I imagine there's a lot of sea turtles around Hawaii.
Okay, I lied. I want the turtles.
And as exciting as the topless men are, the turtles are more exciting.
No, I would definitely take the turtles.
Come here, little turtle, be my buddy. So, anyway, like I said, because Liam, he who shall not be named, Voldemort, is missing, / in Hawaii, we decided to do another special episode in a row with our other special episode, because we do what we want here all the time. And I will pass it off to Leah, because she knows what's going on.
See?
Mm.
Okay, so, as I'm sure, I hope most of us know what Digimon is from our beloved childhoods.
Oh, I have something about this later.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll remember that.
Anyway, some semblance. Even if you didn't see Digimon when you were younger, I'm sure most people know what it is.
Yeah.
So now, like years and years later, they have made a continuation of it with the original generation.
Mm-hmm.
So from like the first and second season, I do believe, of the original Digimon. Anyway, So I have the synopsis from my anime list here.
Is it Digimon Adventure Tri?
Sorry, Digimon Adventure Tri, my
Yeah.
bad, is the proper name of the sequel that we are watching today.
Nice.
Alright, so, Digimon Adventure Tri. Please note that these are being released in like 4 episode
Blocks, yeah.
Chunks.
Yeah, little plot lines, chunks, yeah. So kind of makes them more like a movie. So we watched just the first batch of them, so the first 4 episodes this time. I think currently...
They have names, I think.
Yeah, this one is Saikai.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's more than I knew.
So it's been 6 years since that summer adventure when, well, his name's Tai Chi. In the English version, a lot of the names were kind of made more English, so a lot of people might know him as Tai. Westernized, thank you.
Okay. Yep.
So it's been 6 years since that summer adventure when Tai and the rest of the Digidestined crossed over to the digital world. And nearly 3 years have passed since the final battle between Kari Yagami's group and, I'm assuming, I don't know how to say this, Belia Vamdima. Damn.
Hey, sounds close enough to me.
It's basically I'm going to assume the villain from Kari's group, so that's second generation. As the peaceful days pass by, at some point the gate to the digital world closed. Not even the Digidestined know what caused this, and time alone continues to pass. On one such day, I know Digimon's name in Japanese, they're harder. Kuwagamon suddenly appears in Odaiba. Its rampage leaves the town in ruins and the people there in turmoil. Tai happens to catch sight of Kuwagamon, and he chases after it all by himself in an effort to halt its rampage. But there's nothing he can do against Digimon.
Shall we leave it off
and
there?
And as he's crying, it's no use, I can't do anything about this. You hear this little Digimon's voice going, Tai, look how much you've grown. Yeah, well, this is, and the last thing it says is Tai Yagami, age 17, high school student. The adventure now evolves once again.
Yeah. Ooh.
Spoopy.
Yeah.
Sounds like it should be exciting.
Yes.
Should be.
Becca, would you like to start?
Okay, so I have to start off with saying that the only thing I know about Digimon is that I know Digimon is digital monsters, and also that Digimon are the champions. I didn't watch it when it came out. It was like,
you guys mean to tell me neither of you have seen the original?
No.
I've seen
chunks.
some of it.
Yeah, some of it, but I didn't watch it enough to like follow the entire plot line, and I have no interest in going back and watching the original plot line. So anyway,
I'm sorry, Leah.
I knew about like Tai, and I
have
knew
done this episode when he who must not be named is here.
Well, he can come back and give us his thought afterwards. It's not like we're cutting him out of the group.
I'm gonna be the only fangirl here.
Well, no.
I know a little bit about Digimon.
Yeah, so I know that there's like the Digimon and that they digivolve. I don't understand the connection between the Digimon and their people. So
like a little pocket watch thing.
You might have to walk us through a little bit of it, Leah, and that's okay. Think of this as a entry to Digimon for people who don't know Digimon.
Digimon 101.
Yeah, tell us about these champions, or so their theme song says.
It's been a long time for me too, but the premise basically of the first Digimon was these kids all go to summer camp, and then they get transported to the digital world.
Yeah, I'd seen that part.
Where, they each are basically connected or given their own monster or Digimon. And the whole reason why, they're connected and that sort of thing is because the Digimon need their person to evolve.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
It's like their heart or something.
It's like, is it like energy from them, kind of? Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
No, it's more like their emotions.
Yeah. Okay. They need that connection between them.
I kind of figured they needed the connection. Like, I figured that there had to be something there, because I noticed that the Digimon only ever spoke to either other Digimon or, like, the one specific person that they're connected to. They don't actually talk...
That's more of, like, a coincidence. Like, they can talk to the other...
Yeah. You can just see that they made a point of, like, always talking to their one person specifically, and...
And I think that was maybe to, like, help establish, like...
Who owned which Digimon.
Who belongs who again.
And basically throughout the whole first time, it was just the Digimon and the kids, like, for one, the kids trying to get home to their own world, but saving the digital world at the same time. And then there was also, and I'm not too sure, I'm assuming, I don't know if this show takes place before or after, there was a Digimon movie, where there was already some crossover with the digital world into the human world, which they kind of mentioned in the first episode of this Digimon Tri.
Yeah.
So that Digimon have been sighted in the real world before. And I think they were referencing to the movie, but...
Well, because doesn't the whole second, like, the girl... Fuck, I'm gonna be horrible at this. There's, like, a whole... There's the original starter Digimon group of people that's, like, the group of 6 or 8 kids and their Digimon and what happens to them. And then they had a second run where it was, like, only a couple characters, 3 characters, I think, if I remember correctly. And there was, like, the one main girl and her Digimon looked like a super sexy fox that would attract furries. And that's, like, a second run off of the series.
So there have been, like, I'm not sure how many Digimons, but, like, the main ones that, like, our generation would know of would be, like, the first generation, which is everyone from Digimon Tri except for Tai's little sister and Matt's younger brother.
Okay.
Those two got their own run.
Okay.
Later on.
Alright.
Actually, I think Matt's little brother was in the original, but whatever.
He is, because he has the little hamster Digimon.
Yeah, and then he also... there's one with him a little older with Tai's younger sister, and they get their own season.
Okay.
And then after that, it goes off, like, away from all of them.
Okay. Yeah,
it's basically it's down.
I thought the second season was more set in, like, the human world versus the digital world. That's why I was curious. Okie dokie. Cool.
Interesting.
So, the champions are connected to the people through emotion / heart / soul, and they kill other Digimon / defeat them. Because
the bad Digimon.
The bad guys, yes. Yeah. Alright.
Supposedly.
Is that enough that we need to know to start talking about the new one?
I think so.
Poor Leah's just like,
Leah,
this is the
don't
worst.
cry.
Alright.
It's okay.
This will make it more interesting and funny. Dear listeners, if we say anything stupid during the course of this entire episode, please feel free to comment at us on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes. Let us know what you think.
We'll bitch us out, don't worry.
Yeah, let us have it. We'll just think that you're a giant jerk for criticizing what we're doing in our free time. And, that's fine. We're all jerks here. Alright, so should we go into the initial thoughts on our first 4 episodes?
Sure. Let's see what you guys think of, as people who kind of haven't watched Digimon.
Okay. Veda, you can go first.
Sure.
Yay.
I have seen a good chunk of, I think at least the first season of Digimon. So I know the first season somewhat. But from what I remember. But I'm still not very good with the names and stuff, so I'm sorry.
This is gonna be hard.
When I first started the anime, let's just talk about how it looks, because I think it looks nice. I don't know, just as a start. The colors are really pretty.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah, the colors look nice, the designs are really nice, but there were times when the animation kind of seemed a bit lazy.
Yes, I felt that too.
I feel like all the backgrounds are really nice, and it's sometimes their faces get kind of lazy.
Yeah. There were also parts I noticed where I know usually in anime the background characters don't move on their own anyway, but there was very clearly a janitor in the background with a broom that was half in the air, and he was just stationary.
Really?
And I couldn't stop staring at it. I was like, that janitor should be moving.
See, I noticed it in the quality of the actual animation of the main characters. It only happened a few times, but I completely agree. Definitely, there feels like there's some moments where it's like an intern was animating or something.
There was
Which hard, because I like this overall style is really nice.
It is.
If they took the time to just clean it up a little bit more,
the backgrounds look really good. There was one scene in particular that I remember where it was they were fighting the monsters, and the fight scenes looked okay for the most part, but there was when the main character fallen over and they'd zoomed out to show you the monster next to this tiny little human, and he looked just like a bunch of shapes.
I've got a whole thing about the battle sequences that we can get into in a minute if you'd like.
Yeah, we can go there in a sec.
Yeah.
But it's just some of the animation was a bit janky. It's not the worst I've ever seen, obviously, but it just seems it's just kind of disappointing, I guess, from something because it's the sequel to Digimon. It's huge. It should have this.
It should be well done.
Little budget that they should be able to work with, that they can do it well. It kind of reminds me of the Sailor Moon reboot.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of too. Where
they had it advertised long enough that I thought they'd be working on it for a really long time.
Yeah, and it is toy animation again, isn't it?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know this was a discussion when it came to the Sailor Moon stuff, where often animation, I've heard that in animation groups, they'll do kind of crappy-er animation for the TV release, but then they clean it up even more and make it better for the DVD release and the Blu-ray release.
They do this all the time because they're just trying to pump it out as fast as possible, right?
Yeah, so I'm almost willing to forgive it a little bit just because I'm assuming that's kind of what they're doing.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't want to crack down on them.
And especially after everything that happened with Sailor Moon Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well,
that's a bit of a mess.
I'm actually really excited. Because we record kind of 5 weeks in advance. This is a reference to something that'll happen a month and a half ago. But they're actually redoing the animation style for Crystal a little bit.
I saw that.
It looks better now.
It looks so much better.
Yes.
I feel like I should go back and watch Crystal.
Well, they did the first 2 seasons in the style that it is currently, but season 3 they're going back and redoing a bunch. So this comes up to one of my things with, because I agree with you, Veda, on first impressions. I thought this Digimon looked really nice, besides the occasional lazy animation. But one of the things that stood out to me a lot were the evolution sequences,
right?
Because I used to hate that in the original Digimon, and that's part of the reason why I didn't watch a lot of it, was because it was so jarring to go from this anime illustrated style to this weird computer generated style and then back. And it seems like they've worked that out where there's still a little bit of a difference between the evolution sequences and the general animation.
Well, I think they're still
But-
using a little bit of CG, but the CG blends
Looks
better with
way
the 2D.
better. Yeah,
I think that like from the old Digimon that was also partially a like a plot choice too though, because it's like the digital world, right? So I think they used that 3D CGI kind of look in the Digivolve state just to kind of make things more like digital, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
no,
but-
that makes sense.
Well,
But now because there's more like they can do with even technically like 2D drawing animation now, they don't need to rely on it so heavily.
yeah,
But
well,
they
and this
still put a little bit in, which, just to keep it consistent, I think.
this is kind of like an in retrospect thing too, where it's like now I understand why they made that animation choice back in like the original Digimon, but when I first watched it, I didn't get it and I didn't like it. There might also be like some commentary on how the world is coming more reliant on digital and kind of meshing more with the digital world in general, where the animation style of the evolution blends a bit better. It still had like, it looked more like cell shading animation on it, I found, and I really liked that. I was like, that looks slick, that looks nice. That
I really liked
that.
the transformation sequence in this one too.
Yeah,
That was nice.
It's kind
It was
of
very classy.
unfortunate. I think we only see like 3 animations in the first 4 episodes. So.
I think they do one for every Digimon.
Yeah,
don't they?
everyone gets
Do they?
one.
At
Okay.
least they do it once for each Digimon. That's it.
The only one who doesn't get one, and you guys might have noticed this, is Kari's cat
Yeah.
Digimon. She can't Digivolve.
Oh, okay.
Why
I was
not?
wondering if that was the case.
I don't remember why,
Is it because Kari
but
doesn't
there
love
was
her?
like a reason she can't Digivolve.
Kari has no emotions. She's a sociopath.
No, I think she actually did it to like save her or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I like the
thank
sociopath
you.
theory better.
Of course you do.
We kind of keep jumping off of first impressions, so
Right.
I'm gonna quickly insert. I wasn't the biggest fan of this remake, but it's not for lack of trying. But there's definitely some stuff that really bugged me in their technique and the styles that they chose. So I'll get into that later. But
Get into the-
overall, it felt like part of my issue is probably that I'm not as familiar with the original Digimon as I could be. But I don't have any interest in going back and watching all that Digimon just so I can understand this Digimon. So I think they kind of maybe missed, like, a chance to introduce people to it as an initial point. But that's my thoughts. Leah, initial thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna be a little bit of the opposite, obviously.
Yeah.
Guys.
Leah was the one that made this episode happen.
I know, I was like, why can't I watch this already? God.
Waiting for 6 months, god damn it!
No, I mean, and I wouldn't even, honestly, even if you, like, loved this one, you probably wouldn't be able to go back and do the original anyway, because, like, the original Digimon is much more, like, kids-based
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Oh, sorry.
But obviously, when I started watching the first episode, my, like, inner fangirl was just, like, having the best time, and, like, all the nostalgia was coming back, and I was just like, like, my youth.
I just imagine you sitting there just like, "Ee!" for
Yeah.
for 20 minutes.
And, like, how they just, like, won't show you Ty's face for, like, the first, like, 2 minutes, and I'm just like, oh my god, like...
Just show it to me.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, like, everything, like, I understand, like, yeah, the animation, I, like, was a love-hate thing. It could be so much better, but I like the overall style they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's so, like, it's so funny. They're all, like, teenage hipsters now and stuff like that.
Oh my god, I know. What was with the fedora?
I don't know. But,
That was the one thing I noticed. I was like, oh god.
Hey, fedoras used to
No.
be cool.
No.
Used to be.
No.
Yes.
No.
But other than that, my first initial thought is I kind of like that they're bringing it to our world this time, and it's not them going back to the digital world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll just kind of give, like, a different way of going about things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Nice. Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay. Where should we jump into this? Where should our first discussion be? Outside of the animation, because, is there more we can discuss on the animation? Because I completely agree. I thought it looked really good, like I said, except for the lazy bits.
All I was gonna say as a quick little side thing before we get into deep conversation is Palmon, Mimi's Digimon, has the cutest voice I have ever heard.
I know.
It's so cute.
I really liked all the voices for the little Digimon. I thought they were cute, and they were different from like the English ones where sometimes they go a little too cartoony. I don't know. I thought they were pretty decent.
Actually, Mimi's, like, Palmon, the plant.
Yeah.
Her Japanese voice is actually very similar to the English voice.
Okay.
They have that same raspiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, adorable.
It worked really well.
So cute.
I love it. It was really great.
Yeah.
Good voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just had to say that, because the whole time Palmon spoke, I was like, oh my god.
No, it's a good thing you brought that up. Like I said, I made a mental note of really liking the voices that they did for the Digimon. Especially Garurumon, the little one that looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's just something about his voice that it made him seem a little bit more animalistic and a little bit more simple, but I almost liked that better than, like, really super sentient, humanish head. I don't know.
Well, they weren't all, like, too obnoxious either.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
It wasn't jarring to listen to.
Yeah, yeah.
And, may I say what's also nice is that the girls, so, like, well, I know her as Sora, but Sora, Mimi, and Kari all have, like, not obnoxious anime girl voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was
normal.
when I was younger, Mimi really annoyed me. I found her, like, super obnoxious in the English translation.
Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of bracing for her to have grown up to be, like, a really super annoying, obnoxious teenager. And I actually found her character to have the most personality. So I really, and, like, not in an obnoxious way, I really liked her, so.
Did you do a good
I always
job.
liked Mimi when I was a kid, but that's because she wore pink, so.
No, that's fair. That's why I picked the Pink Ranger back in the day, so.
Yeah.
But, I think
I can
it would have
relate.
been interesting to see what she would have been like. I think it would have been interesting to see what she was like in the Japanese version of the first Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how sometimes, like, English dubs just make everything more annoying.
Yes.
I know for a while the Japanese dub was available, or the Japanese version was available on Netflix. I don't think it is now, but it should be floating out there somewhere if you wanted to compare the voices.
Yeah, out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what other discussions do you guys have about Digimon Try?
Personally, I kind of felt bad when I was watching it because I thought it was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, fair enough. Like, once the nostalgia wore off for me, I was kind of like...
See, I
Okay.
Because, like, in the first
I feel
4
like
episodes, like,
went
not
faster.
a lot of
like,
stuff...
They could have condensed it.
Yeah. Like, not a lot of stuff happened in the first 4 episodes.
Well, I actually...
2 fights.
I made a point of going back, because there's a scene in the very first episode. The very first episode is super boring and dry, but I think it's because there isn't all the nostalgia feels of seeing all the characters again and being like, that's where they are.
For me, that was the best episode.
Yeah, so I was willing to give that one a pass based on the fact that I'm not as connected to the whole franchise as a fan would be. But at the same time, there's like a scene where they spend like 5 minutes ordering food, and I was like, what the hell is actually happening right now? Like,
they spent a lot of time just like talking.
Yeah,
and like that's fine, but it wasn't.
Well, and
it was like turning into like kind of like a weird slice of life kind of anime.
And that's all. Like, if it wants to be a slice of life, that's fine. But it definitely doesn't want to be. Like, there's obviously a plot line that's going to run through it, and it's not just going to be slice of life. It was really frustrating for me to be like, okay, when is the actual plot going to start?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you can see it coming in with that corporation that who knows they're the Digidestined and like wants their help.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, when are we going to get to that? 'Cause it's going to be like great.
So I'm not sure if it's just doing like a really slow burn to get us there. But it's so frustrating to be like, I just want to know what's going to happen, and for like things to start happening. Mm-hmm. But then, like, the 4th episode, it was seriously like a 2 or 3 minute sequence where the guy's talking about how the one that's always on the computer.
Yeah.
He's talking about how he made a program to pick out his outfits for him because he doesn't want his mom to dress him. And I was like,
because that's preluding because he wants to impress Mimi.
I don't care, though.
I'm like, have all that teenage angst, Becca.
Yeah, no, but that's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like that's the thing that should be slow burning, is that whole, like, him trying to impress Mimi. I don't need, like, a 2-minute long sequence of him talking about this computer program, because he could just say, like, I'm making a point to dress nicer, I made a computer program, and it's like a throwaway 10-second line versus like a 2-minute sequence. And then the thing that really bugged me, there's a couple things that like really bugged me with choices they made. And in like those parts that where it seems like it's slice of life and like not really important to the plot line, it's just to show the characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, except for then they take a bunch of shortcuts, like the battle sequence in the 4th episode. It's like it felt like a montage. So I want to watch a battle sequence, but instead it's a montage of these Digimon attacking the big scary bad guy, getting knocked down, and then that's the end of the battle. Like, you don't even see them all digivolve. So
they didn't explain that very well.
They might not want all of them to digivolve. And one thing that I'm wondering about, like, Adventure Tries, it's kind of like that awkward, like, okay, well, the first Digimon was for kids. Mm-hmm. Is this mainly supposed to be for the generation who did watch Digimon?
Or is it for kids?
Kids now?
Yeah.
Is it like... Because I kind of recognize that the battle where, you know, like, oh, like, they get, like, knocked down and then they fight again and then, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's a very, like, standard, like, kids battle scene kind of thing.
It is.
I completely agree.
That's what I kind of thought,
there were times where I couldn't tell what audience it was aimed at. Like,
yeah, and then I feel like, and again, this comes from me who's watched it, you know how we were talking about kind of that more, like, boring slice of life stuff, but for me, that was some of the best stuff, too, because I already know all the relationships that you would have wanted to happen between these characters if they were older. You know, they are older, and you're like, oh, that
means make it happen.
Like, maybe it'll happen.
That means Sora has to decide between Matt and Ty, and then Mimi
it's gonna be so dramatic.
Blah, blah, like, you know.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. That was my thought as I was trying to like process how I felt about it and like my general final thoughts. That's exactly what I came to, was that it feels like it's an anime that it's not sure who it's supposed to appeal to. Is it supposed to appeal to the people that are now like 20-something or that are young 20-somethings that are kind of going through this whole like weird life crisis where you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with your life and how you've changed?
Yeah.
Or is it trying to appeal to children that just want to watch, like, cute animals go and, like, beat each other up for a little bit, and then everybody's happy and life's great?
And you can, like, see them struggling between that in the show.
Yeah, and I feel they should have went to go for the older audience. Like,
me too.
Yeah.
Just go for it, go balls in.
Yeah.
You're not...
Go balls deep.
Go balls deep, bitches!
Yeah, one thing I didn't overly care for was, like, how Ty's having this whole crisis about how he kind of doesn't want to help because he's afraid he's going to hurt people. And it's like, people are going to get hurt anyway.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Just, like, suck it up.
I didn't understand.
And get it done.
Digivolve and get over it. And then he and Matt have this whole, like...
weird fight about it?
Yeah, because I think they were trying to... Because Matt and Ty always had those kinds of spats when they were, like, kids.
Yeah.
I think, again, it was another throwback that just wasn't translating well, and I'm like, shut up, this isn't even a real conflict. Like,
so, quick question, did you guys catch the last, like, the 1-minute segment at the very end of the 4th episode? Because I had to go back, you know how, like, on Death Parade, there's those actual sequences that contribute to the plot at the very end, after the... credits?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's only on the 4th episode. There's, like, it's 1 minute, and it's just, there's Tai Chi, and then the other guy, the other
Tai is the English,
Okay, so there's Tai, and then there's the other dude, who's all, like, fucking get in the game or figure it out.
The blonde kid?
Yeah, the blonde kid. And it's basically Matt being like, are you in now? And Tai is still like,
oh my god.
Seriously?
So it doesn't help, I just finished watching the 2nd season of Daredevil, and they pull the exact same shit, where it's like, oh, I don't want anyone to get hurt, so I have to be nice about how I'm getting rid of the bad guys. It's like, no you don't, they're bad guys. It's the entire point, it's the entire reason why you need...
To me, what kills me about this one is like, okay, well then, Ty, if you don't help, this Digimonster is just gonna go and massacre everything anyway.
Yeah, so either way you're responsible, like...
Yeah,
and you look at all the damage and stuff that's caused, that got really, like, it felt...
kind of forced?
It's not that it felt forced, it's like, it almost felt like he was the only person who was actually mature enough to think of it in that regard.
Oh, that's fair.
I actually really like the fact that he's having this little bit of moral conflict about whether or not he's willing to be part of causing all this damage to the world he lives in and the potential of killing people. it actually really
That
pissed
I
me
liked.
off that
Like,
Matt...
about him being afraid of hurting people.
Yeah.
But, like,
and I actually really liked that moral conflict. It's the fact that everyone else was just like, whatever, dude, just get into it. Like, we gotta go do things. Like, quit being such a baby about it. And that they were really riding on him for having this moral, like, this whole philosophical debate of what do you do. And that was the part where I was like, he almost feels like he's the only one that's old enough to really grasp what's actually happening.
yeah, but then at the same time, Matt's also right where he's like, well, doing nothing is just like running away in this situation because it's going to happen whether you don't want it to or not. So
yeah, it just felt like he wasn't very...
I felt like the two of them weren't having the right discussion.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ty was kind of like, I agree with you, like, I think it is different to see that he's actually having this conflict and, like, worries and stuff like that, but at the same time, I feel like if it was me having those conflicts, I'd probably still at least use my Digimon to try and help while I figure my shit out.
Yeah, I don't like that they use that to, like, kind of make him unable to respond. I just thought it was a more adult way to look at the situation than the bad things are happening, we need to go now without any thought to it. It's nice they're introducing those issues, but I think they're doing it the wrong way. And it especially bugged me when everyone's just gung-ho to go and get it done, and nobody's actually stopping and being like, you do have a good point. People could get killed, and we have to understand that we would be responsible for that. Everyone just seems like they're kind of like, whatever, dude, it'll be fine. Just carry on.
I think that's probably really representative of the split between whether, how they can't pick a demographic to aim at, because it's like, all of his friends are kind of like, the children who are like, where they're aiming at the children, where they're just like, yeah, let's just fight the monsters, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, he's having this crisis that's kind of more aimed at, like, the older kids.
Yeah.
And where he's like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. I could hurt people. There's drama here. And it's like, they don't mesh together very well, so it creates this awkward situation.
Well, and part of the reason why I think that they would do really well to target specifically, like, the 20-somethings or the late teens is because I think the story they're trying to tell does mesh really well with that whole experience of you're done high school, you're done being a teenager, suddenly you're 18, 19, 20, everyone's telling you you're an adult, you have all these new responsibilities nobody's ever explained to you, just, like, heaped on your head.
Shift.
Yeah, like, it really...
I wish they would make it more, like, aimed at...
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were
so
going
epic.
to do.
So awesome.
And that's what I think they're trying to do, but it comes back to that whole, like, trying to appeal to maybe a younger audience that won't quite get it yet.
Yeah.
That this is something that people go through. And like I said, I think that's where Ty's adventure through the first 4 episodes was probably the most indicative of that transference from being an adult to being a kid, or from being a kid to an adult. And you see it too, just in how they're talking about how, like, people have changed and they're not all interested in the same thing. And
it's hard to get everyone together. And
yeah,
exactly.
I feel like they technically still are aiming a little more towards, like, an older crowd, but I feel like they don't want to take it too far because there are those kids who are even still watching Digimon now that are going to be like,
yeah.
Well, maybe not right now because those younger kids probably don't know how to get to anime online. I could be wrong. I don't know. But they might not know that this exists.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they know how to get to it. I'm just saying they might not know that this is around right now.
Yeah.
But I guess even in Japan, though, the younger kids will still probably be watching it, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I would be curious to know who they're trying to target, though. But.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing... in regards to how you're saying, like, all of his friends are like, whatever, Tyler, just get your shit together. They're not all the same age.
Yeah, I know that
are
too.
Younger.
Yeah,
and,
so...
And if anything, even if they were the same age, that is still very, like, representative of being 17 years old. Because I know a lot of people at age 17, if they were involved in something like that, they would be like, get your shit together, man, let's go. Like,
yeah, that's also true.
I think it's me from an adult standpoint wanting a more interesting discussion. That's frustrated with them all standing on that kind of polar opposite sides. That's me just wanting it to go a little bit further and get a little bit deeper into the whole issue itself. And it feels a little bit like peer pressure bullying of, like, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that are going on there that I'm like, there's just something, like you said, they're not quite having the same discussion. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. Can we talk about...
there's that.
Can we talk about the music for a moment?
Oh, I didn't like it.
I fucking hated the music so much.
Like,
I've actually, I was reading through some of the comments on the site that I watched it on, and people were like, what the fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with this music.
Like,
That's-
wait, like the background music?
Why?
Or
Like
the
in that
intro-
last battle scene, it just like killed me.
Yeah,
what music are we talking about?
just like, well, like the last battle scene's a really good example of it, where it's a battle scene, so you're expecting
The
gritty
intro,
music.
To me, was the stuff in the battle scene.
No, see, I didn't.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah.
I didn't even like. I found the intro and outro so just like not. They were so boring. I only watched them once a piece, and I was like, "Hey, that's good. That's fine. I don't need to watch these again." Like I said, the end battle scene is kind of indicative of my issue with the music, where
Whatever.
the tone of the music is completely different than the tone of what you're watching.
Oh, I did notice that too.
Yeah, where like the final battle scene, it's this really uplifting and cheerful and like inspiring music, but it's a really gritty battle that's happening, and then it becomes that kind of like montage battle. You have the battle scene, and this is the part of the issue too, where like it was like a montage rather than an actual battle scene. So like each Digimon gets their one hit in, and then they all digivolve to the next level, and they get another one hit in. Except you don't see those digi-evolutions. So if you don't know anything about Digimon, you might be sitting there being like, where the fuck did this new monster come from?
I was really
what is
confused
going
at that
on?
part. It took me a second to realize what was happening. I was
Yeah.
like, why is that a different Digimon now?
Right? So that
Yeah.
kind of like ruins it. And then on top of it all, like this gritty battle's happening, and they're obviously not doing well, but the music's all uplifting and inspiring and like super energetic.
So
Gosh,
weird.
at all.
Yeah,
And then there were like buildings exploding, and the music's like la 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 la. You're like,
yeah,
what is
you
happening?
get one of those like super inspirational swells as something explodes, and I'm like, this isn't an inspirational swell moment. This is a
Like it
oh
sounds
shit
like they
moment.
should be winning at that point, but they're
But they're
clearly
so not. Yeah. And I found that through like all of the episodes, there's just like weird music that didn't quite match with everything, and I was like, why are they doing this? And like the first episode, the intro's different, so they have like the intro song go long into the episode itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that really
use it as more like into the actual episode.
yeah, and that really bugged me too, because I just didn't like that song. So the
I liked how they did it.
yeah,
Like, I liked how
The
they
sequel.
just didn't have a
intro on
what's the
the
word I want to use? Like a
break.
yeah, like they didn't have like a typical anime
Yeah.
opening. They actually just had the song and the credits overplaying Tai as he's going to school.
Yeah, and arguably,
And I
wouldn't-
liked that.
I
Like,
wouldn't-
the actual like stylization of it.
Yeah, and I don't mind like when that if that were to happen in general. It was just the song specifically didn't really feel like it fit with anything that was going on.
Not
and that,
really.
And that was something I found was happening a lot, where the music just didn't fit the tone of anything that was going on, and it was making it more, and this probably comes back to, we don't know if they're trying to appeal to kids or to adults. It just felt a little too childish. Or just really poor. Like, I'm sitting there
Just
thinking...
disjointed.
Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah.
I just spent the time sitting there thinking, they should fire whoever's doing their music and get a new person. Like... Or somebody go in and, like, rap him on the knuckles and tell him to figure out the tone of the show, because it's not...
Well, especially when, like, the
tone.
music could have helped it so much.
Yes.
Because they had such, like, a strong,
Yeah.
like, when I say strong animation, I don't mean that the animation quality was strong. I mean, like, they just had such a, like, stylized vision for, like,
Yeah.
the tone they wanted, that the music could have really, like, added to that.
Yeah. Well, and I find often, and this is in, like, all visual media, like movies and stuff like that, if the music, you only notice the music if it matches really, really well, or if it matches very, very poorly. If you don't notice the music, it's usually, like, average, good enough. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
if you're noticing it, it's either a really, really good thing or a really, really bad thing, and in this case, I thought it was a really
Yeah.
bad thing.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
I agree.
What are my other things I was gonna bitch about? I just... See, and, like, all that being said, I got to the end of the 4th episode, and I was kind of like, so what's gonna happen next? Like...
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's like the first 4 episodes are basically just build up anyway.
Yeah.
So you're just like, you kind of end it feeling kind of like empty, because you're like, I didn't get any solid content from those first 4 episodes, because it just feels like they're building up
Yeah.
for like the next part of it, so you're like, okay.
But I feel like they've given you enough to kind of want you to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to keep going because, I mean, I owe it to my, like, 7-year-old
Yeah.
self.
Well,
But
and it'll be playing in my house, because Adam was a Digimon fan. He's watched the entire original series when it was on Netflix. He's watched the 4 that we just watched this week. He's watched back when they first came out, so it'll be in the house. I'll probably see more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily against watching to see what happens. I just really hope that the next chunk they put out doesn't drag its feet like this first chunk has been
Yeah.
dragging its feet. Like, it almost feels like They have tons of plot to get to. They just don't want to get to it in these first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
They're taking their time.
Yeah, like, and you can tell, like, they have the potential for this to get really good. And I'm not just saying that as, like, a Digimon fan. Like, I think it's there.
No,
but it could also kind of just not get there,
be
too.
Good, yeah.
So.
Well, it could go either way from this point.
Because
yeah.
the animation's there, the potential story is there, the potential to look at some adult themes is there.
They just had to get their shit in gear. And
there's just so much.
I feel like even if they picked that they just wanted to be in between would be enough. Because there's a lot of, like, technically not adult animes that, you know, are still really good to us adults.
Yeah.
Not too kiddish, which this is not heading.
Well, and I think you can address adult issues in a kid's show. Like, you look at things like Gravity Falls. That's specifically for kids, but there's some spooky shit and some interesting ideas that are happening there that appeal to adults.
Just try and make everything something like a family movie that appeals to everybody.
Yeah. I almost get the same feeling as I'm getting from, like, the Sailor Moon Crystal, where I'm like, there's so much potential still there that it could be just that little bit better, but it's like they're trying to cut corners, and I don't know if it's, like, saving their budget or whatever it is, but they're trying to cut corners, and they're not effectively cutting corners. It's
just hurting them.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of not knowing who their target audience is and trying to, like, cater to fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And like, all they would have needed, I think, to appeal to new fans or potential new fans is that first episode where they're kind of introducing everyone and explaining where they are. Mm-hmm. If they had given everyone just, like, a minute to
more of a backstory.
Yeah, a minute to 2 minutes of, like, this is who I am and this is where I'm at. Those are my friends. Mm-hmm. We all did this thing back in the summer 7 years ago.
And that would be time better spent. Because, I mean, everything that happened in this 4 episodes, they could have condensed into, like, 3, maybe less.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, I get they're trying to, like, establish a tone, but they definitely didn't need 4 episodes for what.
But their tone is so weird to begin with that it's, like, 4 episodes of establishing this really weird tone that's not working is kind of wasted
sort
time.
Of all over the place.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I almost feel sad that, like, I shut it off. Oh, that was my biggest thing. So I watched all these episodes today, and as I watched them, I got increasingly irritated. And then the very last episode. Are we doing spoilers much on this, or are we trying to keep it?
Yeah, just go for it.
Okay.
It's only the first
Spoiler alert.
So they introduced the new girl with the long black hair and, like, the raggy cat Digimon.
Who I hate.
See, I don't mind him. I don't know if he has any background prior.
She drives me crazy.
Wait, the character or the Digimon?
Nope.
Wait, what?
The character feels like a Mary Sue for the audience. Is my first criticism.
Yeah, I like the Digimon, but I hate the girl because I feel like she doesn't match at all. To me, she seems like every other anime girl you see in other animes.
That's what I thought too.
I expect her character to grow more in the next chunk.
That filler shy girl in your class.
Yes.
I hope her character grows more.
I imagine too, but
as of right now, she's really bland.
But that's her specific character wasn't the thing that had bugged me about her though. It was everyone else, when they see her holding the Digimon, the clearly Digimon, like, it's not a regular animal.
No.
She's holding him, and she's like, this is my Digimon, whatever his name is. And then she pulls out a Digi-device.
Yeah.
And everyone acts like they're they're completely blown away. And I'm like, those people have spent a summer around Digimon. They each have their own individual Digimon, and they're shell-shocked there could be other people out there like them. Like, that just felt really insincere to me, or
I didn't think so, but that's because they were always brought to believe that they were the only ones.
Yeah. But when that happened, I looked up and I was just like, fuck this fucking show. I don't, like, it just annoyed me so much, because it just felt like they're making the characters stupid for the sake of making their plot lines work. And, like,
okay,
I don't know. It would have been different if they were if they were shocked about the fact that she had a Digimon in general. But it was when she pulled out the Digi-device that they're all like, "What?" But obviously she must have something if she's holding.
No, because that is more shocking than her having a Digimon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because don't you have
Digimon that are now in the world?
Yeah, but
for all I know, she just met this Digimon, right?
But don't you need to have?
There's not many Digi-destined.
don't one of those come with... So, maybe this is where I'm disconnected. I thought anybody that has a partnership with a Digimon just kind of automatically gets one of those little Digi devices. So maybe I'm missing a point here. But, yeah.
So only, like, Digidestin get those devices, right? Because, yeah, you're right. It, like, shows your connection with the Digimon. But what I was trying to is that because Digimon are randomly appearing in their world in the last 3 days, maybe she literally just met this cat in the last 3 days, and that wouldn't make her Digidestined.
Yeah, see, I feel like that would have been the
everyone
thing.
Can see and interact with this Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where I missed a point, because like I said, I thought all Digimon kind of came with a Digi-device. I still think it would have made more sense.
No, it's not like you just find this Digimon first and you get their device. You actually have to, like, be, like, a Digidestin kind of thing.
Okay. That makes more sense than why they're all shocked. Because when I watched it, I was like, why are they all so shocked by this? Like, all of them have one. We've seen people with them. We've seen, like, I don't know. There's just something about it that, like, disconnected, and maybe that's what it is the Digi-devices. I didn't understand that completely. But there was just something about that scene that I was just
I feel like, again, like, that was also... I think that's also just them being, like, equal anime excitement, friendliness. Like, even how they wanted to, like, how Sora wanted to, like, just help her out from meeting her from, like, a second kind of thing. Like, yeah. I
was willing to believe that, but, like I said, it was the whole, like, shock part where I was just like, that's too much. Like, or all of them responded that way. It was just too much. It really ruffled my feathers. Rustled my jimmies, as he who shall not be named would say.
Yes.
See?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna listen to this and be like,
those bitches.
Should I watch it?
No, he'll be like, those bitches.
Well, screw you, Voldemort.
Yeah.
Sitting on a kitchen, drinking an alcoholic beverage.
See how well...
I'm here in Alberta, like, with a cold.
Be like, see how well Liam's harem works without a Liam! And then he'll disappear. Liam, we love you.
We have to tell him we have a new, like, pimp, harem lord.
Harem lord?
Oh, yeah. We'll discuss that later, who we should introduce.
Who are we naming as pimp lord?
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what?
Perfect.
I feel like she would enjoy it. I would definitely accept Chris Hemsworth. Definitely.
Oh, me too.
Definitely.
Who wouldn't?
Bring it. What else is there to discuss? I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to, like, cut the show down a ton, because there's definitely good things in it.
There is.
Their first 4 episodes were not great.
As a Digimon fan, for other people who are also Digimon fans, I would definitely say go watch it just for all the nostalgia feels.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
And it does have potential. Like, I'm going to keep watching it for sure.
Yeah. I'm definitely not going to, like, shy away when Adam throws it on. I'll probably watch what happens. I just probably won't seek it out myself. There's so many other things I'd rather watch than Digimon, but I don't know.
What about you, Veda?
I think I kind of feel the same way as Becca. I mean, it's just because I don't really have, like, a nostalgic attachment to Digimon, so I'm just not really, motivated to keep watching from this. But I feel like if you like Digimon, you're going to like the show, despite the flaws that we've mentioned. It's still a good show for the most part, and hopefully it'll get better.
I give
even if it is a little bit boring.
Yeah. 3 out of 5 stars.
Any last comments, guys?
I'm trying to remember what else I had on my mind. It seems like there's increasing, like, move to bring things back from, like, 10 or 15 or 20 years ago to, like, hit the nostalgia.
Like reboots.
Yeah, to hit that nostalgia wave. I get that. I just wish that, it felt like the creators were putting a bit more respect into the content and respect towards the fans through the content, I guess. Like, as a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've been watching the most recent animated series, and you just get a feeling of love from that series, that the people that are creating and animating it understand the characters, and they love what they're doing, and they love where they're going with it. And I didn't get necessarily that same feeling from this Digimon episode, these episodes. I didn't quite get that same feeling, and once again, this might be the lack of nostalgia for me. It's the same with the Sailor Moon reboot. That feels like there could be so much more love put into it and
Like,
craft, and it's just not hitting those points. So it's just.
Would you say
I would
it
agree with
feels
that.
more like a marketing like cash grab kind
Yeah.
of thing than like something that they've put their
I feel like
Yeah.
Sailor
to?
Moon Crystal definitely was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well,
I don't know about Digimon.
Here's my
Like,
thing. I don't.
This one doesn't really seem like a grab.
No, it's
Especially
like
It feels a
because
little
this is
bit.
a continuation, whereas Crystal was like a
a
actual
definite reboot. That's a good point.
It feels a little bit like a grab to me, but I'm okay with those kind of cash grabs if they're done well, if they're respectful to the content,
Yeah.
and if they're respectful to the fans. If they're making money off of making something that the fans will love, they deserve that money because they're making something for the fans. I
It's a fan
don't
thing.
want them to make it for the money. Like, it's kind of you have to have the fans before you
I
get
don't
the
think
money.
you're making this like totally for the money. I mean, like they did quite
I
a
don't
bit
think
for
so.
the fans in the 4 episodes.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
There
well,
were like some
that's
little
what-
references and
That's
stuff.
what like tripped them up.
Yeah.
If anything.
And like I said, that's probably because I'm missing the bit of nostalgia that's needed to recognize those aspects.
Mhm.
That's fine. It would take a bigger Digimon fan than myself to say whether or not it shows that care and love, but from where I'm standing, it feels like they're maybe just missing it a little bit. Like, hire someone better for the music. Get somebody that knows the tone.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
just
Yes.
just fix
Music, please.
fix this lazy animation thing. Like, it's one thing if the janitor just doesn't move in the background. It's another thing if he's hanging in the air in the background.
He was just standing stationary.
Yeah, like if you guys are talking like visual wise, I would definitely agree. But like story wise, I think they're doing all right at respecting.
They're like trying.
Yeah, I think it takes a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
elements to make it this item of care and love that I'm looking for. Once again, I'm not a Digimon fan, so it's maybe not made for me, and I'm gonna miss that care and love, or those callbacks and stuff like that. I might miss it, but it makes me sad when you see like a Digimon fan that really loved the original series come in and be like, yeah, it was pretty good, but there's still a lot of problems. Like, you should come out and be like, that was fucking awesome, this is exactly what I wanted. Or,
It's
maybe-
true. I'd be lying if like obviously like it satisfied me because I mean like oh my gosh, I watched Digimon
Yeah.
as a kid and I'm seeing it now and it's like new and prettier and whatever. But as like an anime fan, yeah, it's not like anything special.
and that's,
So.
and yeah. There's some good elements, like, I completely agree with you guys that it looks
There's
pretty
good and bad.
for the most part. There's just, the bad just feels like it overshadows it.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sad because I don't know. Like, I feel like it could be better at this point, and for something like Digimon that is so huge, it's just kind of like sad to see it not live up.
Yeah, well, and like, it's kind of, it's the hype train, right?
Yeah,
Nobody
that
wants
too.
to get on the hype train and then only be semi-hyped when they get to their destination.
Very good.
That's all I want, you know? And it doesn't have to be
Alright.
for me. I want it for the fans, and...
Any?
Mm,
Well, as I say on that note, I guess I will just say, yeah, Digimon fans, watch Digimon Adventure Try. I think it's still worth it for the fans. And if you're not, you take a look, see your opinion.
let us know what you're
And-
thinking of it.
Let us
We're
know
on
what you
Facebook.
think.
Please comment.
Facebook.com/4, as in the number 4, Weebs, Weeb. You can yell at us there, or compliment us, or send us
Or like
pictures.
our page.
Yeah, I don't know, like our page on Facebook. Occasionally we post
Find us
stuff.
somehow.
Let us know,
Give
like,
us some really shitty animes.
yeah. We've
Give
only,
them all to us.
and what else did I say? Subscribe to us on iTunes and Podbean. Maybe leave a review on iTunes. That would be super awesome. Like, let us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Maybe
Please
we're
Talk to us.
the Digimon Adventure Try of podcasting. Let us know what needs to be better and what we're doing great. I
And
don't
let
know.
us know what you might want to hear about in the future for any special episodes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You never know. Maybe we could just do this entire Digimon thing as, like, we watch them whenever they come out and do a quick update.
Maybe.
See how they're going.
Yeah. See if it gets better, because that would be interesting. Maybe.
All right, listeners. See you next week when that guy is hopefully back, unless
Yeah.
he decides to leave us for a warmer state.
And
He
we're
shall
back.
not be
Be under
named.
President Trump.
Oh god.
Imagine
I
if
don't
he
know.
got, like, sunburned on his feet. That's
My
probably
dad
like
had that happen.
that's probably like one of the worst places to get a really bad sunburn.
Anyway, we should
Tune in next week and we'll find out if
Yeah, we'll be
that
grilling
guy got
Liam.
sunburn on his feet.
We'll be
Exactly.
grilling the harem master on where all his sunburns are and what else he did. And he might
Great.
actually have an opinion on the show as well.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listeners, have a good day,
Thank
evening.
you so much.
Keep it chill. Bye.
We love you.
Well, you're all right.
No.